The weather is warming up. I've been doing some jogging. I've been getting to the gym more. And some people have been getting back to me. I've been recording, well, I recorded an interview. But that's more than some of the weeks. For anyone who's been following along, you know that recording an interview is is news at this point. We'll talk about all of that right after this episode gets properly started. There are a great many channels on YouTube that simply start. The person comes on and starts talking. The filmmaker in me would not let me do that. So when I mentioned getting this episode properly started just now, I'm referring to the fact that it has a studio logo, 10th and Fur. That's a cross section right near where I live, across street. And then I have an opening title. I have to. I have a very hard time. I have done it. I have a very hard time, though, just posting a video on YouTube that just fades in, or doesn't even fade in, it just starts with whatever it is I want to say or whatever it is I'm showing. So, yeah, that's what I was referring to when I said properly started. I can't help myself. They feel incomplete. I see some of these people. I follow some, the Critical Drinker over in Scotland. He's sort of a film and culture review person. And he just starts, and I think I should create a title sequence for him and send it to him and see if he see if he likes it. But anyway, okay, yeah, I'm smiling and laughing. I'm in a good mood, and we'll get to the heart of this episode here in just a moment. I went to the gym just now for the first time in a couple weeks. The end of April, things kind of fell off, because I got really busy in this household, really busy. 2 jobs. My daughters were in the school play, which came off pretty well. I won't go into that. Never ask a director his opinion of a movie or a play if you don't want an honest answer. And somebody's going to say, "What did you think of it?" So, yeah, I got to the gym. And in a moment here, I'm going to go to bed. But I want to get this part at least recorded. The big thing, though, was that earlier today, I was able to get another interview on camera. And it was a great interview. Now, I got to be careful how I say this, because I value everyone who has interviewed so far. And every one of them has had sound bites and important things to say. And so I hesitate. I don't want to make anyone who sees this, audience members or any of those interviewees, think, "Oh, so he didn't really care as much for the other ones." I'm not even saying it well. But just some people have. Well, fitness makes a bigger impact on some people than others, which is true about any subject. So I guess I'm running out of words. Point is, I'm going to show you a lot of this interview, because this guy had stuff that I think, in terms of the film, it's going to be a really good interview to give older people or people who have gone through severe physical difficulties. It's going to give them hope and encouragement, I think, that maybe in the other interviews aren't going to give in quite the same way. They'll all fit within the film. It will. You've seen the trailer, the recruiter that I made, and I love it, and I love all those sound bites. This one, just as I sat listening to him, I just sentence after sentence of, "Ooh, I can use that. Ooh, I can use that." That is going to really, or it should. That should really inspire more people like you, Darren. Darren was his name, and I just sat there thinking, this is good stuff for the guy who isn't 18, perfectly healthy, and doesn't and barely needs the slightest kick to say, go work out, go become a muscle stud. I'll let him speak for himself, though. That will be pretty much the rest of this episode. So we'll switch now to footage from just earlier today of my interview with Darren McLeod.
I took it for granted, I would say. That's the best way I can put it. In my life in the past, I had good health for a long period of time and did well. I did not have to work on being healthy or being mindful of trying to stay healthy and work on my health issues.
What changed that?
My personal health issues got to the point, ICU visits, many hospital visits, 4.5 years of being bedridden with one of the issues that I have. And I decided I didn't get to make the choice. I feel like the choice was made for me. You're either going to work on this and pull out of it, or this is the end.
What kinds of things ruined your health?
The biggest thing that hit my health the hardest is what I did for a living. And I believe I have over 20 years plus in doing so, was driving truck and operating equipment. The inability to care for myself and take care of myself, or even the understanding of what I really needed to be doing, created some major health issues that were coming close to ending my life. So I had to make the change and fight back against it. So there was like that time I was bedridden, and then towards the end of that time, it got worse and had a cardiac arrest, heart stopped. And that's where the beginning of the first push happened to go, no more. I stopped the 14 different medications that the VA had me on, and we started going after this in a totally different way, but completely unknown to me how and what I was doing. I just knew I was going to do something. So I didn't have really good guides, and a lot of doctors told me some things weren't possible in their view. And as I have a different view on Western medicine today and the other opportunities that are out there to do something about your health conditions, I said, no, this is not acceptable. So I went after what they said I wouldn't be able to do in some areas. I was headed for an assisted living home for veterans in Barstow, California. That's how bad the bedridden time got, and the issues were, there was a narcotic implant discussed about putting in me so that they could keep the pain levels down. That way, it got pretty serious. My heart stopped a few weeks prior to all of this taking place, and it changed the course. And when that took place and I got through that traumatic ordeal, at least partway through it, I made a decision which no doctor in the VA was happy with, and I said, not one more medication. Later, I realized that's not enough. And I had to realize that in a hard way. Things like my diabetes was out of control, led me straight into the ICU for ketoacidosis and some other issues on top of it. And that's when I came out of that hospitalization and realized and was told, you got to make a change. And that's when the physical part came. It wasn't just no more medications. It was now I have to physically go out and do something about this. And then that gravitated towards my food. Well, I can't do this eating what I'm eating, and what I'm eating is totally backwards towards where I'm trying to go with this. But there again, these are steps I had to take as a brain-injured, dyslexic individual. Weren't easy, and I've taken these on my own and figuring them out. And so those steps led to some pretty serious issues were in my hips as I tried to get through and start exercising and start doing things. That came to a huge point of not being able to walk for a while and possibly getting 2 new hips. I worked through that with the help of the center here in Bend and the physio team. We didn't have to put the hips in, and I started walking, and it was just walking. It was 2 mailboxes, 3 mailboxes, to the church down the street, the church parking lot. After that, the little meditation trail they had, and then from there, Smith Rock, the parking lot at Smith Rock, part of the trail, and just kept going on. And then I set a goal of getting to the top of Gray Butte, walking still, and that took 9 months. When I was able to get back to work and attempt a job again, I still had to maintain my physical pain issues, and walking was a huge part of it. But I didn't have time in the morning to do this before work, so I told my doctors I'm gonna run. I don't have time to go walk for an hour and a half. I need to get this over with so I can get to work. They suggested only a sandy, soft hill. Down the road was a park that I walked by in my walking, so I started there. That running slowly became more and more up to what I do today, and I had some running issues, of course my body isn't what it should be. I've damaged it in my time. I didn't take good care of myself, so I'm finding all the problems that I have, and we have to address those as I go further into I'm going to run, I'm going to do this. So swimming became something to address some of my physical issues to help me run. I had never intended on starting to swim again, like I had in high school and junior high and as a kid because of health issues. Not my plan. Well, it's now I'm swimming, and 30 to 40 minutes at least at a time, and it's a part of what I'm doing. It's not just to help me run anymore. So I've added that, and the spin classes, I do my best to get into them, and eventually I'm hoping to work up to having my own gravel bike so I can kind of make my own little triathlon. One of my little things here recently, I would call it one of my wins, is I went up to Subtle Lake, tootled around, did a little hike, and thought, wow, it'd be kind of neat to come back and run this. So I've gone back, and actually I made 2 laps, and it worked out, did well. Hips were kind of sore, but the new goal is I would like to run it, swim it once, and cycle it, just because.
When I'm recording an interview, I'm listening basically with 2 different ears. And one ear is the fellow human being who was overweight, out of shape, understands the joy of working out. As I was talking with Darren afterwards, I said, I haven't been what you've been through, but I understand the feeling. I remember, the first time I tried going for a 1-mile jog, it took 13 and a half minutes because I was 260 or something like that and hadn't ever jogged, and it was hadn't ever seriously tried jogging, and it was barely a jog. It was a little bit of jogging and a lot of walking at a very exhausted condition. The day I got my mile below 8 minutes, I did cry when I crossed that finish line. I cried with joy. So there's that ear. The other ear is the filmmaker, thinking, how is this going to benefit the film? And I will say that when he teared up, saying how good it felt, I didn't do this in the room because I wanted him to still feel free to talk. I didn't want to dehumanize him, but I will say the filmmaker in me went, that's a shot. That right there is a shot. And I'm admitting it now, knowing that Darren might see this. It was good. It was good stuff. Yeah, I'm looking forward to getting the good sound bites from that, of which there will be a lot. And you didn't even see the whole interview, but putting that together. Okay, I'm going to wrap this up so that when I edit it, Darren has as much time between me and me to talk to you as possible. And say, yeah, I guess for now, just say I have no idea how to close it. See you next week.